Imagine waking up every day to news of floods in Assam, heatwaves in Delhi, landslides in Himachal, and knowing that you have to be the one to cook, fetch water, care for the elderly, protect your children, and somehow keep going. Now imagine doing that while worrying about whether your home will be swallowed by the next flood or if your crops will survive the next drought. That's not just climate anxiety, that's eco-anxiety. Eco-anxiety is different from climate anxiety. While climate anxiety refers to a fear of future environmental destruction and global collapse, eco-anxiety is rooted in lived everyday experiences of environmental degradation, where the effects are not distant or abstract, but happening now, in your home, to your body and to your family. And it hits women, especially those from marginalized communities, much harder. A 2021 study published in the Journal of Climate Change and Health found that women are significantly more likely than men to experience eco-anxiety. But why? Because women are often the center of climate impact, not just as victims, but as frontline responders, unpaid caregivers, and emotional laborers. Take the Joshimath land subsidence crisis of 2023 for example. Residents in the hill town of Joshimath in Uttarakhand witnessed their households deteriorate before their eyes as the structures cracked and sank into the earth. With the lack of institutional support, women had to manage displacement, limited access to water, and household functioning all at once.
तरफ से कभी कोई आते हैं ऐसे देख के चले जाते हैं कि हाँ हम कुछ करेंगे, लेकिन अभी तक कोई भी कार्रवाई नहीं की गई है.
The ongoing ecological crisis worsened their mental distress as they carried the invisible burden of holding families together amid ecological breakdown. In India, nearly 80% of women residing in rural areas participate in agriculture and resource management. Women are the ones who go to get the water, firewood, and cultivate food. If a climate disaster occurs, not only does their workload multiply, but the access to resources and ability to make decisions also diminish. A report released in 2023 by She is the First, called The Mental Health Toll of Climate Change, highlights that women and children residing in climate vulnerable regions suffer from anxiety, depression, and emotional fatigue. For instance, PTSD or acute stress can directly result from extreme weather events, whereas anxiety and depression may arise from higher temperatures and ongoing environmental degradation. They're afraid for their futures and too often they are made to feel responsible for saving it. In Kerala's 2019 floods, a study of 276 survivors found that female PTSD symptom severity averaged 8.24 compared to 6.07 for men, and women also reported significantly higher anxiety and depression scores. They're afraid for their futures and too often they're made to feel responsible for saving it. Because here's the twist. While women bear the brunt of climate impact, they are also the target market for eco-solutions. Green marketing and Instagram-friendly sustainability trends are aimed at women, pushing reusable pads, metal straws, upcycled fashion, and zero-waste living. But what starts as empowerment often becomes pressure. Eco-anxiety is compounded by gendered expectations. Women are not just expected to save the planet, but to do so perfectly, aesthetically, and individually. Meanwhile, systematic change is painfully slow, and most climate action plans still sideline women's mental health. A 2024 analysis ahead of COP29 showed that only 27 out of 119 national climate plans even mention maternal or newborn health, critical components of women's mental well-being during climate crises. In India, only 16 of 28 state action plans on climate change acknowledge gender at all, with the rest largely oblivious to women's unique climate-related vulnerabilities. Without gender disaggregated data or a dedicated mental health strategy and policies, eco-anxiety in women, already dismissed as overthinking, continues to be ignored. But the question is valid and urgent. Why does eco-anxiety hit women harder? Because they are doing more with less. Because they are blamed when things go wrong and expected to fix what they didn't break. Because climate crisis is not gender neutral and neither is its psychological toll. If we want real climate justice, we need to talk about care, about inequality, about the mental health of those who are holding the line while the world burns. Let's start asking better questions and let's start by listening to those who have been carrying the weight all along.